So I need your guys' feedback on this video in the comments down below, because I typically only do this for like drip marketing when new characters come out for another nation, which we'll be doing this probably next week. But I'm sitting down right now to record my thoughts and reading through the recently released patch notes for version 5.0 of Genshin Impact. It seems like there's a lot of new changes and updates. A lot of people in my Discord were tagging me, asking me what I thought about it, but I haven't looked at it yet. And I was like, oh, this would be kind of cool for a video topic, or like just a video upload if you guys are interested. I feel like this patch in particular is going to be really meaty, because obviously it's a new nation. We have Natlan, new mobs, systems, new quality of life, stuff like that. And I'm sure they're going to extrapolate on this once we get the live stream special program on Friday, which, by the way, I will be streaming the live stream special program. I believe it's going to happen at midnight Eastern time, and I will be live at my Twitch channel, twitch.tv/MurderofBirds. We are going to be watching it as we do every live stream, and really excited to just get the Nation of Pyro, the new Archon quest tidbits, and everything else in between. They've also like teased a lot of the stuff regarding the Saurians, which is great. But yeah, looking at this initially, it seems like we're going to be getting world level 9 unlocked regional specialty tracking function now available. Starting from version 5.0, world level 9 will be unlocked. The developers are bringing new functions, including regional specialty tracking, long quest prompts, and more. Additionally, some optimizations and iterations have been made to the Serenitea and food system. Let's check it out together. All right, so starting off, it says, in the new version, travelers who have reached adventure rank 58 can choose if they want to upgrade to world level 9. When the world level is increased to 9, the level of normal opponents, elite opponents, and world bosses in the open world will increase by about 10, making the battles more challenging. So I don't know if this is planning or whatnot, but obviously we're going to Natlan, which is the nation of war. So I would expect out of every nation, out of any nation rather, that the nation of war would have the most bang for your buck when it comes to mobs, when it comes to how strong they are. I expect Natlan's mobs to be stronger than any other mobs prior in the game. I don't know if the same is going to be said for Serenitea, but I'm wondering if that's one of the main reasons, like internally for the game, why they're opting for a world level increase. The more practical answer for that, I would say, is probably that Hoyoverse is looking at the data and is realizing that the average median for world level and adventure rank is probably above AR 55, probably more to AR 60. If you've been playing the game since day one, and especially if you're free to play, if you're a free to play day one player, you are already AR 60. If you're someone like me or a fellow content creator who max res and refresh, you probably hit AR 60 within the first year of the game's release. Just to kind of give a little bit of perspective for myself, I was AR 55 during version 1.4. So it took me 4.5 months of playing the game from the day of the game's launch, and 1.4 is when I hit AR 55, which was during the first ever Windbloom event. So from version 1.4 to now, I've basically been playing the game on the same scaling level. And then if you want to go further from this criteria, AR 58, I hit AR 58 during version 2.0. So I think I hit it like in August. So like 2 or 3 weeks after Inazuma came out, I hit AR 58. So I've been coasting ever since. I hit AR 60 in December of 2021. So I basically hit all of the milestones of maxing out my adventure rank within the first year. But again, this is someone that max res and refresh daily, and I was playing the game every day. I was making content, streaming it, making YouTube videos, etc. So I think this is for the average casual player, the person that gets on maybe once every couple of days and just plays the game and making small incremental progress. So, you know, if anything, there's something there for these people at this point. I'm kind of curious though how the scaling works out, because Hoyoverse, what they typically do for newer nations is when a new nation comes out, they give you all of this new data. They give you all these new features and functions and mechanics. And then what they do is they retroactively give quality of life to the previous nations to help, you know, people that are behind or newer players coming in. They'll essentially quote unquote nerf a previous nation, which will be in the form of like better drops, or they'll change enemy behavior to make it easier. They definitely did that with Fontaine with domains, like with earlier domains, they made them easier. And I think when Sumeru came out, they made mobs kind of like the specters, for example. They changed the behaviors on specters to make them easier, because at the time of Inazuma's release, those were the most annoying mobs in the game. And so whenever a new nation comes out, they're making it as quote unquote difficult as possible for veteran players, right? We are basically paving the way for newer players to have an easier time and easier go at it. You know, look at when you started playing the game and look at what the game game was like in that state, and then look at it now for a newer player and all the quality of life that has happened since then. The game has objectively been better for newer players than veterans like myself, which I understand. For newer players like me, we're pretty much in it just for the story, and there's not much combat outside of, there's not much challenge to the game. So World Level 9, the one thing that I'm hoping World Level 9 does, and this was something that I noticed during Enkanomiya, I think Enkanomiya has the best scaling when it comes to like open world scaling, like with mobs and stuff like that. When you go to Enkanomiya, the enemies don't just die. Unless you're C6, unless all your characters are C6 and all your weapons are R5, they might. But for me, who gets one copy of a character, one copy of a weapon, I think that the scaling of Enka is kind of like where I really like it. It's not too bloated like Inazuma, where all the mobs just have crazy health, but like you're also not one cycling a character. I remember when Enka first came out, and I was like really surprised by the fact that I got to go through a full rotation or even 2 rotations of my character's skills and their ultimates before a creature died. And they only made it better with the Enkanomiya event in 2.5, the 3 Realms Gateway offering. They had like a combat mechanic during that made the bosses like level 100 mobs in the open world of the game. And I thought that was really cool. And it kind of satisfied my need for what I want in the game, which is like, I want to be able to use my characters in combat. I don't want to just hit someone with a skill and then switch to another character and hit them with another skill, and then the elemental reaction just nukes them. You know what I mean? I want to be able to use like my full rotation of skills and my full rotation of burst, and maybe 2 cycles, 3 cycles, and then I'm done. You know, I want to just at least feel like my characters are pushed. I'm not like crazy wailing on them, but I still want to feel like the world is, you know, I don't want it to feel like I'm just brushing through everything. So if this is what it allows for, like this extra 10 levels, maybe that'll fix it. I expect Natlan to also have a level of scaling as well. And speak of the devil, all that yapping, I had to just scroll down a little bit more to see. So they go on to say also, I think this Paimon doodle is so fucking cute. Oh my god, that thing is so adorable. Of course, the rewards for defeating opponents in the open world will also be more generous. For example, defeating a world level 9 boss will guarantee at least 3 character level up materials. Now, here's the thing, right? Before I go any further, I do want to say this. Obviously, a lot of people are looking at this from the perspective of this is helping out new players insanely. But what you also have to realize is if you're a veteran player, or if you're caught up with the current plot of the game, if you're waiting for Natlan, you still have to fight the new mobs there, the new weekly bosses, the new world bosses. We also have that with Snezhnaya, Conria, whatever. So this is, while it is kind of unfortunate that this could have been implemented long before now to make scaling and grinding an easier process, the fact of the matter is this is still going to be utilized, and it's still going to be valuable for veteran players, for characters that we're going to have to farm moving forward, like the Pyro Archon or Dainsleif eventually, or the Serenitea, or whatever new harbingers become playable, or any characters here and there, you know what I mean? So you know, I don't want this to kind of feel, I don't want people to feel like, oh, this is a net negative for veterans and a net positive for new players. Because like, again, Hoyoverse knows what they're doing, and they obviously are implementing this for the sake of the matter. And like, even here for the bottom, it says, plus starting in version 5.0, the basic drop rate for the following opponents will be optimized to increase the efficiency of obtaining corresponding materials. Okay, this one I'm low-key kind of infuriated by, because it's almost implying that they knew that this was an issue and they're only now rectifying it. I remember, and I'm gonna go off on a slight tangent here, but so during year 1 of the game, so between Mondstadt, Liyue, and Inazuma, I was grinding for name cards, because as you guys know, if you guys watch my content, I'm a big fan of the name cards that they have in the game. I wanted every character's name card. I wanted every collectible name card you can get. Name cards are a bit more optimal now. It's kind of easy to not, like, the only way you don't get a name card is if you don't pull for the character or if you don't get the battle pass, but every other name card is pretty much obtainable. There was one achievement in the game. It was called Cliffhanger, and it was a commission-based achievement that you had to get both achievements to get the Cliffhanger name card. And I got that commission, I shit you not, 20 times, and it was RNG based for a specific NPC. And it took me 20 attempts of getting 2 out of the 3 NPCs I needed for me to get that achievement. So much so that I literally messaged MiHoYo customer service and I complained about it. I was like, this has to be a bug. And other people in the community did the same, and they were like, oh no, things are working as intended. But then tell me why, like a year later, I think between Sumeru and Fontaine, they implemented a quality of life improvement that makes it so if you don't have a specific achievement, they increase the probability of you getting those commissions if you're in that nation, or if you're your commissions are set to that nation, you have a higher probability. So now everyone's achievement farming now because it's a higher rate. But if it was working as intended, you would think they wouldn't fix that. And it's similar to something like this. It's almost as if like they want to artificially make things more difficult until a point of no return where they're like, okay, now we'll just nerf it. And by that point, I already have all the things I need. So this is a little, I get it, but it's just, I don't like it. I don't like the fact that like they're making things artificially more difficult until a certain point where it's like, hey, we'll make it fixed, we'll make it better, and it objectively helps only newer players, because who the fuck is still farming for ruin mats unless you don't farm at all until something you need comes out. So yeah, I would definitely say I think this is probably most applicable to the Nobushi and the Kairagi. Inazuma had a fucking devastating issue, and I mentioned it in my playthrough as well. They had a really bad issue with mob drops, and I mentioned this, but I was like, there's no fucking shot that this is intended unless they did it specifically so that it made people play longer and retained people's interest and retained people playing the game to get the materials they needed, because it was definitely an issue when you consider that Mondstadt and Liyue, you got to drop no matter what. In Inazuma, there were some of these guards, right, Nobushi and the Kairagi, that you would kill them and they wouldn't drop anything, and I was like, this is a scam. I've never really had any issue with the ruin mobs. Maybe they want you to get multiple drops of the different rarities of them potentially, especially if your world level's going higher, you should be guaranteed drops across the board. But I never really had an issue with any of the other mobs. It was just the Kairagi and the Nobushi guards. You should have always been getting guaranteed drops at world level 8, and the fact that you have to go to world level 9 now to guarantee that is still kind of ridiculous, because most people will not hit world level 9. I don't know, can someone in the comments let me know as well? I know I'm rambling here, but that's basically what the topic of this video is. But let me know in the comments if they changed the scaling of adventure rank EXP, because I remember there is a point where I did hit AR 58, which is the criteria for this. I believe you needed 280,000 adventure rank experience to go up from 57 to 58, and then from 58 to 59 was 312,000. I don't know how long that's going to take any players playing, obviously, between world quests. Like, obviously there's more quests in the game, so if you do more quests, you're going to be able to blitz through. You'll probably hit AR 55 like in like a month or two of playing if you do everything, but including like Sumeru, Fontaine, and now Natlan, I wonder how long it's going to take for you to hit AR 58 unless they pulled back how much experience you needed. And again, similar, if they change that too, that's another thing. They're artificially lengthening to keep people's interest, to keep people around. But like me, I max res and refreshed almost every day when the game first came out, and I hit AR 60 within 2021. So yeah, obviously this is the dub. This is good. Objectively, it's just a matter of like, obviously if you're a newer player, this is kind of like, I guess, better late than never, because it's still gonna apply to me going into Natlan and Snezhnaya. Looking back on all that I've already grinded, it was kind of like, did I ever really need this to begin with? But again, if you're a new player, congratulations. The game's going to be a lot more accessible and easier going for you guys. And they say too, with the increase in world level, the drop rate for materials also increases along with the drops of specific monsters. And again, it's a level of efficiency. It was criminally inefficient that it took this many years, 4 years in game. Granted, Mondstadt and Liyue were fine. Year 1's grinding was fine. There was no issues with the drop rates. The drop rates were goated. It was Inazuma that like fucked everything, right? And most of the mobs here are in Inazuma. The graders are in Inazuma. The Kairagi, the Nobushi, the Spectres. It's an Inazuma problem primarily. So this seems to just mostly rectify that nation, because it was always an issue ever since 2.0 drop. And the fact that it took them 2 extra years to fix it is insane to me, but you know, it is what it is. Next up, we have regional specialty tracking function and increased total map pin limit. Thank God. I have like 100 and something pins currently optimized in like different areas of the map. Chances are we're going to get more Pyroculus than any other Oculus in the game. So that's probably a big reason why, to kind of help you track certain things in certain spots. So happy about that. I'm always interested in more map pins. Pro gamer tip, if you guys ever get an Oculus, put one of the little star pins right there, right after you grab it. I've been doing that ever since Liyue, when the Oculus reached 3 digits, and it seems like we're going to get only more Pyroculus than the previous nation. And then when we go to Snezhnaya next year, we're going to get more Cryoculus than the previous area. So, you know, that's something worth considering, so you don't have to do constant backtracking. But anyways, also use the Genshin interactive map. That's goated as well. So let's see. To help you find regional specialties more quickly, after the version 5.0 update, you will be able to pinpoint the location range of regional specialties on the map. Interesting. So they just nerfed specific character talents then, because That was like a big, like, I mean, yeah, at this point, I mean, let's be real. I don't know anyone that was getting a character specifically for their material tracking, especially when you consider you can only see the materials on the map when you're near an area for it. So obviously this is more of like this is a quality of life that's not limited to characters. So I don't want anyone to be out there like furious and enraged that they literally got a character specifically for that one specific region, because again, moving forward, they're not going to have to tack this on to a Natlan character or a Serenitea character, because this will be universal for the game. So this is objectively a good thing. Clicking on go to collect at the source of the regional specialty will mark the location range of regional specialties with multiple blue circles on the map. At the same time, the number of specialties in the area that may have not been collected will be displayed. Okay, so it shows. Oh, that's really cool. Nice. So like you click on it from like inside of your thing. Actually, when was this featured? It has like a little star right there. So I'm like, when? Hold on. Oh, that's kind of interesting. So this has nothing to do with anything, but like I was like, oh, like they have certain pings on the map. But I guess this is just kind of like what they have in their dev thing. Cause like, for example, they have this area right here, and this is where you did the alchemical ascension. They have this area right here, and this is where you did the unreconciled stars event, I believe, right? The cap is for Mona, and this is where you fought the meteorite on the map. They have some of these net areas here, which I believe this is where you did the I think this is where you did one of the events where you had to like capture creatures, I think for Endora. So these are a lot of Mondstadt locations. I saw like the wind bloom right here, or I saw like the wind whale aster, so I think that's referencing wind bloom festival. So yeah, very interesting. They just have like random things. Also, they have like the waypoint that kind of starts the whole game here with Aether and Paimon at the start of the beach area. So yeah, just funny, quirky little things that I just noticed from here, like just what's on their HUD. Anyways, this is objectively really good. Again, it's kind of like they're embedding, it seems like they're embedding aspects of the interactive map into the game. The one thing I hope they do, and this is still an issue with the adventure handbook, whenever you like click on a material and click on like the mob where you have to farm it, it doesn't track every mob in the game. It only tracks up to a certain amount, and then it just fucks off, and then you have to pull up the interactive map to get the rest. It would be great if they track every single material. I don't know why they don't do that, but they don't do it with mobs. They don't do it with elite mobs or standard mobs, and I don't know if they're going to do it with specialties either, even if it's limited to a specific area. But that's one thing they definitely need to fix. Maybe they'll fix it in the future once they realize enough people, you know, I don't know. The fact that they held off on like the better materials for Inazuma, I don't know if it's something that they're ever willing to fix, but that is definitely something that I hope they fix. After collecting all of the specialties in the area, the blue circle will automatically recommend new areas for the corresponding regional specialties. Again, they do this for the mobs, but after a certain amount, they just stop. And you could literally go to another, like if you do Ruin Guards and you start in Mondstadt, if it'll just stop after a while, even though you know there are Ruin Guards in other parts of the game. So it's just I don't know. I don't know why they just don't go the whole way, you know, just to make things easier for the players, especially if they have all the areas unlocked. Moreover, starting in version 5.0, the total map pin limit will increase by 50. So what is that? 250 now, I think? I don't remember what number it is because I haven't capped it out in a really long time. I mostly use it for tracking Oculus per patch. And I usually also have like special location areas that I want to remember for memento reasons, or like sitting areas in the world. I also do that. So an extra 50 is great. Not bad. Traveling will be more convenient in the future. Always good. Artifact Strongbox. New update to the crafting bench's mystic offerings. After the 5.0 update, 8 new artifact sets will be exchanged in the mystic offerings in the crafting bench. All right, so they're adding the Sumeru and Fontaine artifact strong boxes. Not bad. And then Serenitea load. This is for all of you Serenitea mains. After continuous performance optimization of the Serenitea load by the developers, the load limit will be increased to 1.6 times the previous limit with the version 5.0 update, allowing for more furnishings to be placed in the Serenitea. In addition, the furnishing inventory limit has been expanded from 2,000 to 2,200. I don't really do Serenitea furnishing like stuff. I still like create everything for my teapot, especially for the battle pass. And I know a lot of people that are like super hardcore like Serenitea enjoyers, just like TCG. Just because it doesn't apply to me doesn't mean it doesn't apply to others. But like a lot of people like CN and even NA have really good teapots. The fact that you can literally like yoink someone's teapot design if you have enough mats is super cool as well. But yeah, this is again another good overall thing. I don't really use artifact strong boxes. I don't really like the idea of Gamba on top of Gamba. I already had to grind and I already had to gamble for the artifacts that I had. I already have enough artifacts for every team, for every character that I have in my game so far. So this is good for people who use the strong box, but this is something that doesn't really affect me at all. Food usage and cooking system optimizations. In the newer version, special dishes will now have a usage prompt before use, covering multiple scenarios. Using special dishes in the inventory, using special dishes in NRE menu 30, or using special dishes to revive characters. Oh, okay. So is it just giving you a prompt in case you don't want to use a specialty dish versus a regular dish? Because, you know, specialty dishes are rare. So I get that. I get wanting to collect like the specialty dish of every character you own. I collect all the variants. I collect the suspicious dish, the standard dish, the delicious dish, the specialty dish. And if you're lucky and manage to get any of the lantern right dishes from version 1.3, I still even have those. So I have like 5 different versions of grilled tigerfish. So yeah, not bad. That's good. What's more, when reviving characters, lower rank food items will be prioritized to avoid the accidental use of special dishes. That's good. That's good. Not bad. Paimon will protect all of the special dishes. That's funny. All right, nothing too serious here. It's just like safeguarding you using rarer materials over lesser materials. So that's good. The food okay, so there's more to it here. The food interface in the inventory and the cooking system interface will have a new filter and search function to make them easier to use. I personally have no issues tracking and finding all of my stuff personally. I really only use cooking at this point for 2 factors: reviving options and healing options. If I don't have a character that's like a healer, I always have my food bag on my quick equip. So I think what I do is I create the matsutake rolls, and I forgot what I use for reviving, but I basically only cook 2 dishes, and I make about 20 a week just for the battle pass requirements as well. So, you know, it's okay objectively, but it doesn't really affect me much. All right, we have certain interface operation and daily optimization. In version 5.0, the developers have optimized some commonly used interfaces to facilitate a smooth and convenient operations experience. Condensed resin crafting interface. Okay, all right, so that looks a little sleeker. It will display the current number of condensed resin you have and automatically select the maximum amount you can craft without exceeding the limit. Okay. Weapon enhancement interface. The preview of excess EXP converted will be displayed in the enhancement interface directly, simplifying weapon enhancement operations. Yeah, so I can't imagine how much time I've wasted to like that extra pop-up screen every time you level up a weapon. And I have met all of my 5-star weapons are level 90. Every event weapon's level 90 for me. I have a ton of 4 stars that are level 90. And so I like that. So like at the bottom there, it just shows, hey, this is the extra that you'll get back, instead of it showing an extra screen afterwards. So if you want, you can just bang out your level ups and not have to deal with that constant like canceling your screen. So that's just like another like less screen situation. The forging operation will automatically select the maximum quantity you can currently forge without the need for manual adjustment. During repeated forges, the quantities to be produced can inherit those that have been forged, and the interface will reset after exiting. We hope that these optimizations make the corresponding experience smoother for travelers. So I do appreciate this one especially because this goes back to like your weekly battle pass requirements, where everybody, if you're maxing out your battle pass weeks before it's done, or even if you're not, even if you have time left over, you're probably making these materials, even if it's the lesser ones. So this is something that affects all players. If you're getting the battle pass consistently, patch to patch, these are weekly requirements that you have to do as well, and this affects everybody, myself included. I make the lowest one all the way pushed to max, and I'm constantly doing this. I can't imagine how much time I've wasted just constantly maxing it out myself over the last 4 years. Natural screen quality of life is good. Being in the screens as little as possible is the best option, just so you can get back into playing. So this is welcomed. I like this. Personal profile display page optimization. We're gonna check this out, but this is probably something that I'm gonna like just because I like showcasing my account, my characters, all of my accomplishments and things of that nature. So let's see. In the new version, the personal profile display page will add the display of number of characters. Oh, that's cool. Okay, all of my characters are gonna be 10 basically. I have every character friendship 10 that I own. The personal profile profile display page will add the display of the number of characters at max friendship level, the number of stars obtained from floors 9 through 12 in the Spiral Abyss, and increase the daily limit for the character showcase. Oh, it did increase. Yeah, before you could only have 8. Now you can have 12. Oh shit, that's dope. Okay, I really like that. Displays their constellation level, displays their details, which is like the build for the character, maximum friendship level, which, you know, I basically am going to be pushed up until I don't have the last 4 characters. So I skipped Chiori, Cloud Retainer, Siegeween, and Clorand. So yeah, I really like this. We have also set up a function for you to display constellation levels. You can choose whether to display this information publicly based on your needs. Let Paimon see what you've got, traveler. Oh, that's cute too, these little Paimon stickers. Yeah, I really like this. I like just showcasing my characters. I don't have everyone C6 R5, but you know, it's just I also kind of utilize this more so as like, these are my favorite characters, or maybe some of them are my favorite builds. Same thing with the name cards. I hope they increase the name cards as well. Well, actually, no, the name cards was at, I think, 9, but characters being at 8 and jumping to 12, I like that. You just get a chance to showcase more of your favorites. All right, I'm curious what this one entails, because I am someone that plays these really long world quests. I voice all of them. I read everything on stream. I'm very into the lore of the game to that degree. So let's see. Long quest prompt function. The developers noticed that during the adventure, there are some quests with long durations and high difficulty. If you enter without warning, you may experience forced teleportations, interrupted processes, and resets. Therefore, the developers have created the long quest prompt function so that you can plan your adventures accordingly. So I wonder if this is going to be equivalent to like the focused experience, where it's like it negates everything else, but this one will tell you, hey, you're about to get into something that's pretty lengthy. You're gonna need these materials, these characters, you're going to these locations. Basically, they don't want to blindside you, right? I feel like everyone was blindsided by the Aranyaka quest, and right, the Aranara world quest. I think that's the longest world quest in Genshin Impact to date. Like as a solo quest, not counting like Narcissenkreuz, which is a bunch of different quests that interconnected to this one plot. So the Aranyaka quest, objectively longest quest in the game. I get it, especially if you like, we never experienced something like that until then. So a good call. And I wonder if this is also to not only prompt people for Aranyaka who are new, but I wonder how long these Natlan, Snezhnaya, Conria world quests are going to be too. You also have to consider they're coming out with this now when Aranyaka at this point was 2 years ago. So, oh, you know, just makes you think. For quests with long storyline durations, the long quest prompt function will trigger a reminder to help you arrange your time reasonably. For quests with difficult combat scenarios, the long quest prompt function will provide recommendations for required elements, weapon types, etc. based on different combat scenarios, helping you to enter battle with a suitable party composition. What constitutes a long storyline duration for them? Because I'll tell you right now, like it's always hard for me to gauge how long a quest is going to be, because I go at it from a different angle compared to the average player, or compared to someone that skips everything is going to say the quest is like 20 minutes long. Someone that naturally plays and they're not a content creator and they don't have all these distractions will probably say the quest was an hour to play. And then there's someone like me who does the quest, live streams it with chat, has commentary, and my quest is like 2 hours long. So I wonder how they're going to gauge what a long storyline duration is. Difficult combat scenario, that feels like a little bit of a skill issue personally. Like, I don't think there's ever been a quest that negates you from utilizing any team or even swapping your characters. Obviously, by your world level, you'll know if you're underperforming, if you're getting beat up in the regular open world. The story quest will probably do the same, unless there's like a world boss or something. But this is also making me wonder if these two things are both applying to Natlan. Like, is Natlan gonna have harder world quest content? Is it gonna have longer world quest content? Right, there's 6 tribes. There's the Mayor Javari, there's the Archon quest plot, there's the Cataclysm 500 years ago, there's whatever factors are going on in the nation itself, there's the Pyro Sovereign Dragon lore. There's a bunch of things that could lead to having longer durations, right? Narcissenkreuz wasn't long on its own, but there were just a lot of longer quests that made up that plot thread. So I'm wondering, I'm curious. So it says here, note, offer the talisman to begin an ancient trial. The next part of your story is more continuous. For the best experience, it is recommended that you spare more time for it. Okay. So I guess it'll tell you, hey, there's more of this quest to go. You can, oh. So I wonder if this gives you a place to pause, directly pause, and then come back later versus keeping the thread going. Because if you leave for now, right, like it won't, it's not like an all or nothing, I don't think, or at least that's how I'm interpreting it. But yeah, I mean, that's interesting. It still gives you the option to continue here or there. Interesting. So it'll basically tell you, hey, this quest is nowhere near being done. You can stop for here or you can keep going, just to give people a chance to figure out what they want to do. So overall, this is welcomed. I like this. Always giving players a heads up is nice. I'm typically someone that does quests in one sitting, or even better, like I am also someone that is curious as like where's a good breaking point to stop a quest if it's too long. So this is also seemingly another nice way of pacing yourself. And last but certainly not least, we seemingly have information on reputation and battle pass. Let's see. In addition to the aforementioned optimizations in version 5.0 to reduce the long-term game burden on you and optimize resource output, starting from version 5.0, we plan to adjust the acceptance criteria for weekly reputation quests and make adjustments to the corresponding battle pass missions. When the reputation level of a certain region reaches the maximum, the weekly reputation quest for that region will no longer be available. We will remove the weekly reputation quest from battle passes and weekly missions, i.e. completing 3 requests, completing 3 bounties. Is there going to be a replacement then? Because that's still battle pass experience you're missing out on. And typically, if you're doing everything as soon as possible, you'll hit battle pass, you'll hit reputation 10 during 0.2 of a patch. So 3.2, 4.2, 5.2. The patch that an Archon comes out, if you're doing everything as soon as the patch comes out, like if you're maximizing, especially like that first week of a new patch to unlock the reputation, right, for 5.0, you'll be able to get the wings by the time Mavwika comes out, for example. And so by 5.2 is the earliest that you can max out your reputation if you're being optimal. But I'm wondering, like, for people, like, what does that mean afterwards? Because that then just means that you won't be able to get, I think, what is it, another 800 battle pass experience per week. So I wonder if they're going to replace that with something else, or if the cost of experience is going to be lessened after that. I don't know. They go on to say, starting from version 5.0, the battle pass mission will be adjusted as follows. In battle pass to this BP period, a new quest series for accumulated enhancements of 5-star artifacts will be added. Completing the quest series will grant a total of 3,600 battle pass EXP, 60 primos, and 60 sanctifying unction per period. Oh, okay. So basically you're getting primo gems for leveling up your artifacts now. Interesting. And this is a battle pass criteria. You're gonna get 60 primos for rolling on HP and defense from now on, which is interesting. Enhanced 5 stars, a total of 30 levels, 60 levels, 100 levels. Yeah. So this is gonna be something that naturally happens because we get new artifact sets every region, and sanctifying unction. So by leveling up, they'll give you some residual XP for leveling up artifacts, a little bit of primos, and this isn't too bad. 1,200 per. So this might be to make up for the battle pass, like for the weekly reputation after a while. So this might make up for that. The non-reputation experience rewards for Natlan's weekly reputation quest will also be adjusted from Mora to Sanctifying Unction. In Battle Pass daily missions, the Battle Pass EXP for completing daily claims 4 times will be increased from 150 to 200. And from the above adjustments, the developers will issue 1 million Mora in one go. Please stay tuned for the official notice on distribution details. Well, I already have 160 million Mora, so what's an extra million, you know? They're compensating you up front for kind of changing things moving forward, which, it's a good gesture, I guess. That concludes the development discussion. We'll let you know on a little secret. That's not all of the optimizations in version 5.0. For more major optimizations, please pay attention for the version 5.0 special program. Also, here's a reminder, the special program live stream for this update will start on August 16th at midnight. Please look forward to it together. So that is literally, technically, we got to be ready tomorrow, at the time of recording, tomorrow night. So, and I believe they're going live 15 minutes early for like a pre-show. So I'm going to be live at around 11 p.m. I'm going to be live an hour beforehand. So it is Wednesday at the time of recording. Tomorrow is Thursday. Tomorrow night is when we should prep, because it's going to be Friday at midnight. So just keep that in mind. And I was thinking that too. I'm wondering if they're going to increase the artifact cap. They tend to increase the artifact cap at the release of every nation, and my artifact cap is getting there. I have like less than 100 space, and we're getting new artifacts and stuff like that. So that's very exciting. We're getting more quality of life, more optimizations that they're going to talk about in the special program, which is great. Very, very, very happy about that. I think the world level 9, the character display, and the battle pass are the ones that are most like involved for me in terms of like my interest in them, because those affect me primarily for how I play the game. But obviously quality of life, less screens, better drop rates, better late than never, I would say. But objectively, this is just going to be something naturally better overall. I hope the world level is also like relatively scaled well, especially with Natlan. I'm wondering how much Natlan is going to scale from Fontaine, being that it's another nation, and AR-58 is like a really tall ask for players. I'm surprised it's not AR-60, but that's just me. But yeah, that's pretty much everything at this point. I know I yapped primarily, and I don't know how dynamic or how static this was, like for generally just sharing my thoughts, but this is the first time that I've ever done a stream like this. I don't know how often I'll do it. I think it's probably valid that I did it for 5.0 because it's a new nation, and so I feel like the quality of life is going to be the most impactful going into a 5.0 patch versus like, you know, like a, I don't know, like a 4.3 or a 4.6 or whatever. So let me know what you guys think about this. Do you guys like hearing my thoughts? What do you guys think? Let me know all that stuff in the comment section down below, and I'll consider doing these whenever a new patch comes out, because I do this for the drip marketing, like I said, and you know, drip marketing is a little different because it has like my reactions to everything. This one, it kind of gives you an understanding of what to expect. World level 9, that's a big deal. So with all that said, yeah, very excited. Natlan is less than 2 weeks away. Super excited to get into all of that. Like I said, I'll be streaming that on Thursday night on my Twitch channel. I'll be live Thursday night on Twitch, twitch.tv/MurderofBirds. That will be uploaded to YouTube as well. And yeah, I really hope you guys are able to tune in. But with all that said, thank you guys all so much for the support. Thank you guys for checking out the video. As always, leave your thoughts down below, and I will see you all in the next one. Take care.